How you guys doing? It's Dr. Shah. It feels like it's day 100 of being quarantined. All I'm doing is eating and drinking, and I know people aren't able to go see their dentist or the orthodontist. So one of the things we worry about is, are people gonna end up getting cavities? So I thought I'd make a small video on how to prevent cavities. To know how to prevent it, I'm gonna get into a little bit of what causes cavities. So the earliest manifestation of a cavity essentially is a small patch of demineralization on your enamel. So usually it happens in the pits and fissures and grooves on the surface of your teeth or between the two teeth. So I'll show you my diagram here real quick. So here's where it's often you're gonna get little cavities start, and the other spot is you're gonna get cavities between the two teeth right there because it's hard for the bristles to get in those areas to clean it. So you hear about don't eat sugar and that way you won't get cavities. It's not sugar alone that causes the cavities. It's also, you've heard about bacteria that causes cavities. It's also not the bacteria alone that causes the cavity. It's a mix of the two. So when you eat, the sugar that's in the food that you eat and it mixes with the bacteria that's on your teeth, the plaque that gets left behind your teeth, when those two come together, the bacteria, they create an acid, and it's that acid that attacks the enamel, and that's where you end up getting cavities. So I have this fancy curve over here, and I thought you might find it interesting. It's called the Stephan Curve. So this is at time equals 0. This is Sugar Bug Doug right there, the little guy, in the shape of COVID. So as soon as you eat, the pH starts to go down because there's bacteria in there. It's taking the food. Your body also releases different acids to help you digest the food. So the acid starts to drop pretty quick. Within a few minutes after you eat, your pH starts to go below 5.5. So I have this little dash line below 5.5. That's cavity city. So as soon as you get to pH below 5.5, the demineralization process starts. And it continues to drop down to get to about 4, and it starts to finally go back up. The reason why it goes back up is you have this magic potion in your mouth, the saliva, and the saliva is amazing. It helps neutralize the pH, and that's what helps it go back up. Because right when you eat, if you're lucky and you go in and you brush right away, that's amazing. That's one way you get rid of the bacteria, and that can help neutralize it. But if you're not brushing right away, what neutralizes it, the reason why you get the bounce back of the pH is because the saliva helps buffer the pH. The other thing that's amazing about the saliva that's on your teeth is not only does it help buffer the acid pH, but it also has minerals in there to help remineralize that tooth. So there's this constant battle all day, all night, and your tooth, where there's some demineralization happening because the pH drops, and then as soon as the pH is back above, there's remineralization happening, and there's minerals in your saliva that help it remineralize it. So that's how it goes back up and down. The reason I'm making this video now is because during quarantining, like me, you're eating all the time, you're taking snacks all the time, you're taking sips on coffee and tea and whatever you're drinking all the time. So every time you eat, remember this pH drops below and you're in this red zone. So in a typical, when you're out and about and you're not eating meals constantly, there's enough time where your pH stays above 5.5 and you're able to remineralize it, so you're able to fight it back. But during times like this, if you're not brushing often and you're snacking all the time, the pH constantly stays below that 5.5. So please, 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 as soon as you're done eating, try to brush if you can. If you can't, and when life is back to normal, I tell everybody one easy trick is every time you eat a meal, end the meal with taking 2-3 big sips of water, swoosh, 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 and swallow if you don't have a sink. At least by doing that, you quickly help the pH neutralize it faster so that the acid is unable to cause the demineralization process in your tooth. Yeah, I think I got everything I wanted to. Wish you all the best for my orthodontic patients. Remember, the orthodontics part of it, your treatment will be fine. I'm not worried about progression or regression of your orthodontic treatment. We'll pick up where we left off. It's just a pause. What I'm worried about is if you're not brushing your teeth and cleaning your brackets and getting under the gum line, it's the cavities that I'm a little worried about. Thank you. Miss you guys.